guest this evening is the senior captain from Verona, New Jersey, Charlie McSpiritt. Charlie, the sweeper back who's really anchoring a very good, very tough defensive position for the University of Connecticut Huskies, doing a fine job in the backfield. Charlie, at the beginning of the season, the Huskies weren't supposed to be as good as they turned out to be. The loss of Erhard Cap, Joe Maroney, and two others, of course, Ricky Kren and Mike Howard, were supposed to leave pretty much a big hole for the Huskies to fill. But yet, coming up to the first few big games of the season, Indiana, St. Louis, South Carolina, it seemed that hole was filled. Well, what can you say about that?
I think this team is a lot different than last year in the personnel. We have a lot of players that by themselves can't win a lot of games, but as a unit can win a lot of games. And it showed in the first 3 games. We got goals from people that aren't supposed to score goals, and in the result we got 3 good victories against 3 very tough teams.
Now, the people that are joining you in the backfield are pretty much new. We have Jimmy Lyman, who played a couple years ago, and John Brubacher, who is a transfer from Rhode Island, along with Tim Maisley, who played with you last year. But as a unit, you pretty much were not used to each other. It took a little while to get accustomed to each other's playing ability.
Yes, it's very tough to play defense with 3 other people that you haven't really played together. But we all play good soccer. We all know what we're supposed to do. So it just took a couple games together to get used to each other's play. And as a result, our defense has turned into very tough defense. We had a couple of shutouts in a row. And we don't give up many easy goals, which is good for the team as well as the fans.
After 2 weeks of the season, the Huskies were ranked number 1 in the country, which was pretty much of a surprise considering the toughness of the schedule and the loss of the players that you had beforehand. But you kept rolling along. You beat the easy teams as well as the hard teams, and some of the New England games were pretty much a lot easier than you thought. You really rolled over BU and BC, and matter of fact, most of the New England teams that you've played so far really haven't given you a contest.
Well, I think a lot of the players on the team haven't played against these teams, so they don't know what they're supposed to be like. So everyone's going out against these teams thinking we're going to have to play tough, we're going to have to go for the ball, we're going to have to play tough defense and tough offense to win the games. And as a result, we've won the games very easily, which is good for the New England standings. It shows that we can play the New England teams and beat them.
You won the first 7 games of the season, and you go out to probably the toughest road trip any University of Connecticut soccer team had to face. 3 tough games out at the West Coast: University of California, Berkeley, University of San Francisco, and Stanford University. All 3 tough teams, and especially very tough when you're playing them on the road. You came away with only 1 victory. It had to get the team down. What happened when you came back to Connecticut to face the other teams? How did the team feel, at least with their psyche?
Well, we took a couple of days off after a very long trip. This was just to get, our stuff back together, give a chance for everyone to relax, start some studying again, and then come out again and start the whole season over again. We had a tough 3-game road trip, and we're coming back and ready to play Dartmouth up at Dartmouth to start the New England season back over again. So as a result, we were coming along very well after that trip.
And you did come along very well. 7 straight wins since then. Again, you've been playing a lot of teams more close to the home. A few games intersectional, but most of those games that you did win were a tough game versus Yale and a tough game versus Brown, and not so very tough game versus St. John's. But you've been doing very good still against the teams around this area. What do you think that shows to the rest of the country of the University of Connecticut soccer?
That we can bounce back after 2 tough losses. We have good morale, good confidence, and we are ready to play the game of soccer after such a long trip to California.
Now you're coming to the end of the season. You're playing probably, again, the next toughest stretch of the schedule. You're playing Alabama A&M, of course, which you came away with a 0-0 tie. Right now you're in Pennsylvania to play Penn State, ranked number 12 in the country, Philadelphia Textile, ranked number 6 in the country, and, of course, then you go on to Rhode Island before the tournament. Do you think this is possibly the best type of way to tune up for the tournament, or do you think maybe you should get some easier teams still in there towards the end of the season?
This is a very good tune-up for the tournament. We play Penn State tonight and Philadelphia Textile, which are very 2 tough teams, top 10 teams, and this will give us a great tune-up for Rhode Island and the New England playoffs.
As it looks right now, you're probably going to finish number 1 in New England and have that home field advantage for the New England championships and then for the quarterfinal championships, which, of course, is a very big boost because the crowd at Gardner Dow always keeps behind you. How do you feel about the crowd?
The crowd is great at Gardner Dow. It's enjoyable to go out onto the field with 6,000 screaming fans. all for you, none against you. And it's tough for opposing teams to come into the Lions Den, as the coach from Alabama called it.
Now, it's your senior year. This is your last year. Of course, you want to do as best as possible, as the captain, and as this is your last year as the University of Connecticut player. What do you feel you're going to be looking for after you graduate? You're going to try to go into professional soccer, or you're going to stick with your major and get into the working class world?
Well, if the opportunity of professional soccer comes my way and it looks like I have a halfway decent chance of making it, I'm certainly going to give it a try, because I love to play the game of soccer, and why not try to make it a living? Otherwise, I just fulfill my credits next semester and graduate in May and start a career in education.
Well, thank you very much, Charlie, for joining us here at halftime. And congratulations to you on the team that you've done so far this season. And for the rest of the year, hopefully we'll be back in California, be with the Final Four. Thanks once again.
Okay, thank you, Harold.
Very quick crowd. 45 minutes to go here in the second half. The whistle's blown, and the kickoff will be made by Carlos. He takes it, and the Connecticut Huskies are underway. Carlos, right side over to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito controlling the ball, trying to get around Jeff Mayerhofer. Does so on the right side, gets around Mayerhofer. No, he is tripped on the play by Mayerhofer. With the whistle on the play, we're going to have a direct kick for the Connecticut Huskies right about 10 yards outside the penalty area on the right side. This crowd, the largest crowd of the season. We don't have the official attendance, but talking to most fans, they said it's a very large. DeBrito in front, header knocked away by Penn State. It goes over the line, and it'll be a corner kick for the Huskies. So they will come up with the third corner kick of the contest for themselves, and they'll be taking it from the right corner. Pedro DeBrito will be setting it up. With most of the Huskies right around the goal mouth, getting ready to set up DeBrito with a low liner in front, headed up around by Graciano Cornell, and now goes through everybody. Eric Myron running for the ball, and he has it on the far sideline. Myron chipping it in the middle, looking for it is Conley. Ball loose in front, kicked up by a Penn State player. Coming in front is Brubacher as he collides with Jancevsky. Whistle on the play, and Brubacher calls for a jumping in call. 44 minutes to go here in the contest, exactly 2-1 Penn State, and the Huskies had a chance to put the ball in the net right there, but it goes by the boards, and Penn State will have a direct kick right outside their own penalty area, and looking to take it will be number 5, Dan Cantor. Cantor slides the ball on the right side for teammate Greg Dennis. Dennis is a stopper back, and he starts things up on the right side for Bill McDonald. McDonald controlling the ball, passing it downfield where Husky intercepts it. That's Charlie McSpiritt. McSpiritt down the left side for Husky, and he is tripped on the play. We're going to have a call. I believe that's Billy Maroney going down again. As you remember a little bit earlier, Maroney was injured in the first half, was having some sort of problems, but he is playing the second half. No real big problem so far, and the Huskies are going to have a direct kick, and taking that direct kick is going to be Charlie McSpiritt. McSpiritt puts the ball in the play, looking for Graciano Cornell on the right side, but he goes by Cornello, and he goes all the way past the goal line, and it'll be a goal kick for the Penn State Nittany Lions. So 43 minutes to go here in the regulation time. Penn State 2, Connecticut 1, and again, Penn State will line up with that goal kick. Taking the goal kick this time, Duncan McEwen. McEwen sending it right around the middle of the field. Graciano Cornell coming up with it as the wind is going against McEwen. Cornell pass the left side over to Carlos in the middle, but it's stripped away by Peter Jobling. But Jobling has the ball stripped right back by Connecticut, and this is Tim Maisley on the far sideline. Maisley up the field, but it's stolen there by Duncan McEwen, and McEwen coming back the other way. McEwen over to Doug Moyer. Moyer around the middle of the field, trying to get around one Husky. The ball kicked back over to teammate Dan Murphy, and Murphy along the left sideline for Lou Carbiner. Carbiner controlling the ball. One-touch pass to Jancevsky, but intercepted by Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito up for Charlie McSpiritt, but stolen back the other way, and Penn State has it. A play by Doug Moyer, but coming up is the Connecticut defense to send it all the way back to Jimmy Renahan. And the Huskies will start up their offense from that point of the field, and they'll bring it all the way down the other way. Now deep into the Penn State territory. Racing forward is Billy Maroney along with goalkeeper Greg Kenny. Kenny gets there first and kicks it over the touchline. So the Huskies will have a throw, as the Huskies tried the long passing game to start that ball in the play, but to no avail as most of the offense did not get back in time. This is Pedro DeBrito from the far sideline looking to make that throw, and as the wind starts to whip just a little bit further, now they're going to say it's going to be a corner kick, and DeBrito takes it right on the middle of Billy Maroney. Maroney in the penalty area, slides it back to DeBrito. DeBrito. DeBrito outside the penalty area, chipping it in front again, and he goes over the goal. So the Huskies cannot put the ball in the net. 41-27, it'll be a goal kick for Penn State.
One factor I think we maybe negated a little bit, or we haven't put enough emphasis on, is the wind held. Down at field level, the wind is really howling from left to right, so the Huskies will have the wind in the second half, and it will help on direct kicks from 40 yards out or corner kicks.
And the wind is really starting to pick up now, so we can feel it. The wind was a crosswind a little bit earlier in the game, but now blowing right for the Huskies' backs. So every time Penn State takes that goal kick, it's not going to really get over the midfield. And that's exactly what happens here. We're going to have an elbow called on Doug Boyer right around the midfield circle. Connecticut with a direct kick. Quickly sending into play is Jimmy Lyman. Lyman for Cornell. Cornell can't control it. Brubaker comes over. Brubaker sides the ball over to Cornell, and the Husky offense starting. Cornell over to Charlie McSpiritt. Down the page of DeBrito. DeBrito into the penalty area. DeBrito sending pass to Billy Murray. Murray to McSpiritt. Shot off the back of a Penn State player and over the goal. But the Huskies will have a corner kick on the left sideline, and quickly Ellis Conway running into that corner to get ready to take that kick. 30 minutes, 26 seconds. Conway setting things up. Huskies getting right on the goal area. And here's Conway with the pass in front. And punched away by goalkeeper Greg Kenny. Kept loose in front. Going forward is number 8, Duncan McEwen, and a Husky. A whistle on the play. They're going to call a push, I believe, on Carlos. So it's going to make that an obstruction call on Carlos. Indirect kick for the Penn State Nittany Lions. And they kick it all the way back to goalkeeper Greg Kenny. A similar play which a goal was scored by the Huskies, but disallowed late in the first half. If that goal was allowed, it would have been a 2-2 ball game with an offsides violation called on Connecticut, and Coach Joe Morney storming out to dispute it, but to no avail as the Huskies did not get the shot there, did not get credit for that goal. Right now, Penn State controlling the ball. A slip up, Billy Money almost with the steal, but controlling it now is Jeff Meyerhofer. Meyerhofer has the ball stolen by Elvis Conway. Conway has the ball stolen back from Meyerhofer. 2 Penn State players collide, and the ball is still loose on the sideline. We have a whistle on the play. And it's going to be some violation on the Penn State team. Connecticut will have a direct kick about 10 yards outside the penalty area. Looking to take the kick is Pedro DeBrito. Huskies playing a little bit better in the first half, a lot more aggressive and a lot more team-like. And here's DeBrito setting up. DeBrito sending pass in front. Leaford has Billy Murray loose in front. Murray shot right to left. And Penn State coming and clearing the ball. Right, taking it down the other sideline. This is number 8, Duncan McEwen. Take that number 9, Peter Jancewski. Jancewski run off the ball by Charlie McSpiritt. And Charlie McSpiritt will take it down the other way. McSpiritt centering pass down the middle of the field. Headed away by a Penn State player. Kept in play by Carlos. And he sends it on the left sideline for Eric Byrne, but just a little bit too far. And the Huskies will lose the ball to Penn State throwing.
A nice defensive play on that last onslaught by the Huskies by Bill McDonald as he fell down and knocked the ball down, and Billy Maroney was right there. We'll have to look on that on the next direct kick because Pedro and Billy worked so well on those, and Billy was looking for the header, and he had almost a clear shot after he tipped the ball off his chest and centered it, but when he shot it on net, McDonald was right there to knock it away.
38 minutes, 16 seconds. Remind you, our next soccer broadcast, 12:55 from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the Huskies of Connecticut will face those tough Rams from Philadelphia Textile. So make sure you're there for that one. Our next football broadcast tomorrow afternoon, the sports page at 1 o'clock at 1:25, Connecticut versus Boston University in a key Yankee Conference match with Tony Savino and Jeff Dobeck. And following that will be the athletic supporter of the postgame show. Connecticut controlling the ball for just a moment as Penn State knocks it all the way back to goalie Greg Kenny. And Kenny will start up the action for the Nittany Lions with 37:47 to go. And Penn State controlling the game by a score of 2-1. Pass on the right side over for Greg Dennis. Dennis chipping the ball up to a teammate, but coming in between him is Carlos. But now Carlos loses it back to Jeff Meyerhofer. Listen on the play, and Carlos is going to be called for a trip. And Bill McDonald will send the ball to play with a direct kick. So now play stopped. The clock's still running as they're waiting to set up this one. This is McDonald, the defensive back, sending the ball upfield into the stiff wind for our teammate. This wind is really blowing hard. Penn State can't keep control of the ball, and Pedro DeBrito comes up with it right around midfield. DeBrito leading the Connecticut Blue attack. DeBrito coming down, trying to get around Greg Dennis. Chip on the right side to Graciano Cornell. Cornell has to beat the ball to the end line, can't do so. And we'll have a corner kick for Penn State, but DeBrito is thinking, trying to start things up for Connecticut. It looks like the Huskies are trying to play with 4 forwards and 2 midfielders, as Graciano Cornell trying to really get into the action as he has been playing forward throughout most of the season, but today he was switched back to a midfielder and switched with Billy Maloney. 36-41, the goal kick taken by Greg Kenny. Kenny lining things up and very much taking his time. And Kenny lines it up for McDonald, who boots it right around midfield. The wind holds it up. Headed there nicely by Doug Moyer. The ball settled down on the foot of Duncan McEwen. And McEwen passing on the left side for Meyerhofer. Meyerhofer pushed on the player by Graciano Cornolo. And it's going to be a direct kick for Penn State.
Smart play by Graciano Cornolo. I don't think if he didn't trip up his man there, he would have had a run-on-two or whatever. They would have had a break. They would have had a play by Gratz.
Very good play, Mike. They would have had a breakaway, so Gratz came up with a big play. And taking direct kick, Lou Carbiner. Carbiner sending the ball back to Danny Cantor. And Cantor giving it all the way to his stopper-back, Greg Dennis, who will start up the action for the Nittany Lions. Dennis sending it downfield into the Connecticut zone for Carlos Carlos as he comes up with us. He's tangling with Doug Moyer. Moyer pushes him on the far sideline. Connecticut with the direct kick 35-48 to go. They're still down by one. Have to start mounting some sort of offense to get back into this game. Carlos controlling the ball. Left sideline. Up the field for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito can't control the ball. Stolen there by Duncan McEwen. And McEwen sending a pass upfield where it's stolen this time by Charlie McSpiritt. McSpiritt leaves the ball off for Graciano Cornolo. Cornolo stripped of it by Peter Jansevsky. Jansevsky up to teammate Danny Murphy. Murphy back to Jansevsky along the right sideline for Peter Jobling. And Jobling starting things up for Penn State. Jobling looking for Jansevsky. Overshoots him. And coming up with his Jimmy Lyman. The Huskies are going to bring the ball back the other way. Controlling the ball for the Huskies. This is Timmy Maisley. Maisley going all the way back for Brubaker. Back pass stolen by Doug Moyer. Moyer tangling with Brubaker. Now Moyer in the clear. Centering pass for Jansevsky. Cleared away by the Huskies. Still kept in play by number 10. Jobling shot. He hits the post and goes over. So the Huskies with a very, very bad play by Tim Maisley as he tried to get the ball back to Brubaker. But Penn State came up and intervened and almost put the ball in the net, taking the Huskies out of the game. They were lucky on that one, Mark Boudreau.
You can't go much further as they bang the crossbar, and you can hear the ping from there. And I tell you, the Huskies are going to have to start to play some defense, and maybe the four-man on the offense might be a good idea, but if you can't get back in the transition game, you're going to get scalded.
Sean Sullivan enters the game for Graciano Cornolo, Connecticut with the goal kick, really booting the ball all the way downfield. Racing for it is Greg Dennis. Dennis trying to send it back to his goalie, Greg Kenny, and he overshoots him. It goes over the goal line, and there will be a corner kick for the Connecticut Huskies. Now, let's see what they're going to roll. There seems to be some sort of discussion between the officials. They're going to say it's last touch by Connecticut, so another overruling decision goes against Connecticut. 34:05 to go here in the second half, and the goal kick taken by the Nittany Lions goes over to around midfield. Eric Miley had a flare there for a moment, taken away by Greg Dennis, and Dennis leaves it off for teammate Dan Murphy. Murphy with the ball on the right sideline, sliding a pass over to Doug Moyer. Moyer controlling the ball, gets it over to Jobling. Jobling down the sideline for Dan Murphy again, but stripped away by Tim Maisley. This time Maisley gets a pass all the way back to Jimmy Linehan, and Linehan wearing the green outfit for the goalkeeper really sends a high boot with a long hang time, headed off by Duncan McEwen, and he heads it the wrong way, goes all the way back to Billy McDonald, the defensive back, and McDonald slides the ball all the way down to Greg Kenny, and the goalkeeper will start things up with a long left-handed throw along the left sideline for Lou Carbiner. Carbiner chipping the ball up, looking for teammate Jansevsky. He overpasses the ball, coming up with his Jimmy Lyman. Lyman trying to send the ball back into the Nittany Lion territory, but it's stolen there by Penn State, and coming up with it is Doug Moyer. Moyer in the Connecticut zone, getting the ball slid tackled away, and coming up with his Lou Carbiner. Carbiner over to a teammate, stolen back by Connecticut. The ball going back and forth, no real control over the ball. This time Connecticut takes two passes in a row. Pedro DeBrito on the left side looking for a streaking Tim Maisley, and Maisley overruns Jobling. Maisley on the left sideline, centering pass in front, looking for Maroney, kicked away by the defense of Penn State, all the way to Pedro DeBrito, and DeBrito trying to start things up for Connecticut. DeBrito right along the middle. DeBrito going back to Charlie McSpiritt, but he's tripped on the play. We're going to have a direct kick right outside the penalty area, about 10 yards outside, along the left sideline, and McSpirit's going to take it. McSpiritt, lob right foot, right to the goalie, Greg Kenny, and that was a very poor play. Kenny almost let that ball go right over his head, but he got lucky there. The wind really made McSpirit's ball go a little bit harder than Kenny thought, but he did manage to get some hands on it, and he saved the ball. 32-14 to go, 2-1 Penn State, and Penn State controlling the ball. Duncan McEwen trying to get around number 10, Eric Byron, and he tips the ball on the left side for Jansevsky. Jansevsky trips on the play, almost intercepted by Brubaker. Now intercepted by Sullivan. Connecticut deep into the zone of the Nittany Lions. Sullivan, one-touch pass over to Conley. Conley back to Sullivan. Sullivan shot and goal off the back of a Penn State player. Goal kick for Connecticut. And we like to remind you, Sullivan was as the only Connecticut goal in the game so far today.
Harold, as the snow starts to come back down, one thing we mentioned when the ball was coming over on the centering pass, the ball was knuckling in the wind, and we'll have to look out for that in the near play.
DeBrito taking a corner kick on the far sideline, and he sends a long lobber in front. Couple Huskies around the goal mouth, headed up in the air. Conley bicycle kick, it's headed over the goal! Conley with a beautiful bicycle kick, but making the play of the game, Jeff Myla for the midfielder, who was right there with the goal. It's just similar to the play Conley had versus Alabama A&M late into the game. Huskies will come up with another corner kick, and DeBrito sends the ball in the play again. DeBrito right in front. Hey, goes by the ball. It's by everybody. Kicked out of bounds by Dan Murphy, and a corner kick on the near sideline for Connecticut.
A lucky break for Greg Kenny, who came out of the net, and he tried to punch the ball, but he missed it, and it went in front of the net. No one there to knock it home.
Conley this time will take the corner kick, and he sends one out in the top in place for Charlie McSpiritt. McSpiritt sets it up, sending it to the middle corner play, as only Penn State Nittany Lions are there, and Jancevsky sends it downfield over the touchline. Connecticut with a throw it right in front of their own bench. This is Brubacher throwing it in front of us. Conley trying to get around Luke Carbiner. Does so, sending it back to Ronnie. Ronnie one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but coming up to make the save is Greg Kenny, as almost a poor play by Penn State across the Connecticut goal, but Kenny alertly came out of the goal there and made that nice play. Ball now on the far sideline, kicked out of bounds by Connecticut, throw in for Penn State. 30 minutes, 21 seconds to go here in the second half. Penn State 2, Connecticut 1. Those goals both being scored by Peter Jancevsky for Penn State. The one Connecticut goal from Sean Sullivan from Pedro DeBrito at the 19:26 mark. Harold Darak along with Mark Boudreau. Exciting Connecticut Husky soccer action from Jeffrey Field here in University Park, Pennsylvania. Now we have a push on the far sideline against the Huskies, and it'll be a direct kick for number 3, Bill McDonald of Penn State. McDonald sends a low liner into play, looking for this Carlos. He comes up with the steal, sends it up the field for Billy Maroney. Maroney back to Carlos, and Carlos chips it in the air, looking for Elvis Conley. Carlos just overshoots Conley and goes over the goal line as Greg Kenny came out of the goal. And if Conley did end up catching up with that ball, he would have a one-on-one with Kenny, and Kenny would have been poorly out of position.
One thing again, getting back to the wind, I don't mean to harp on it, but when you're passing the ball with the wind, you got to take that into account. And in a situation like that where they're passing ahead for Elvis Conley, the wind takes that ball and puts a little more momentum on it, and it makes it tough to get to the ball as it speeds up.
It'll be a goal kick, this time taken by Bill McDonald. McDonald sending up midfield. You can hear the crowd going, let's go, stay in the background. Peter Jobling comes up with the ball. Jobling controlling it on the far sideline, kicks it right to the foot of a Connecticut Husky, but they can't control it as Greg Dennis comes with it the other way. Dennis sending the ball downfield. Charlie McSpiritt coming up with the Connecticut team. McSpiritt up to DeBrito. DeBrito right along the midfield circle. DeBrito along the right sideline for Elvis Conley. Conley chipping it over for a streaking Sean Sullivan. Sullivan has to get around one Nittany Lion, decides to send the pass to Elvis Conley right around midfield, and Conley's bringing it up right the middle. Conley shot on goal, right to the left by about 2 feet, as Greg Kenny really didn't move it on. If that ball had any English on it, again, it might have ended up trickling into the net, but the Huskies starting to show a lot more offense, starting to put a lot more pressure on Greg Kenny, and hopefully they'll end up breaking this 2-1 deficit.
I was just going to mention, Harold, that the Huskies have had the better part of this play for sure here in the second half, as we have played 17 minutes, and I think the Huskies, at least for 15 minutes, have controlled this action.
McDonald gets the kick right around to midfield, settled for Peter Jobling. Jobling kicks him over the touchline, and it'll be a throw in for Connecticut. Tim Misley will take it. Misley gets it over to Bill Maroney. Maroney kicks off the back of his heel, but he unfortunately kicks it out of bounds for Connecticut. It'll be a throw on the far sideline, this time for Penn State. McDonald taking the throw, gets it right to the middle, headed away by Carlos. Carlos, ball being headed around now, not really controlled by anybody, and McDonald kicks the ball into the Connecticut zone, but he gets it over the far sideline, and again it'll be a throw in for Connecticut. 27 minutes, 42 seconds to go in this contest. Penn State 2, Connecticut 1. Penn State scoring both their goals in the first half, both by Peter Jancevsky. Ball being controlled now by Danny Murphy. Murphy right on the midfield line. Can't control it for now. Connecticut comes up with a whistle on the play. We're going to have a push beforehand on Connecticut. So the direct kick right on the midfield circle for the Nittany Lions on an elbow. And take it looks to be a Lou Carbiner.
Hey, John, watch yourself.
After this game, Tony Savino will be playing rock music up until 10 o'clock when we'll have Panorama, our nightly news and public affairs show. This is Carbino sitting right around the middle of the area. Tim Maisley heads it away, and he was pushed on the play. In fact, he was charged into, and it's going to be a Connecticut direct kick. And Charlie McSpiritt sets it up, gets it over to Jimmy Renahan. And Renahan outlets it deep downfield looking for Pedro DeBrito. He overshoots DeBrito, but it's kicked all the way back to Sean Sullivan. Sullivan gets it to DeBrito. So DeBrito back to Sullivan. Now ball's bouncing loose, goes over the touchline, and we'll see where it's going to go. They're going to call it throwing for Penn State, and taking it will be Carbiner. Carbiner throws it into the Connecticut side of the field off the chest of Doug Moyer. Moyer can't control it very long, and coming up with it is Jimmy Lyman. Lyman controlling for the Connecticut Huskies. Lyman has the ball stripped from behind by Jeff Mayerhofer. Mayerhofer loses it to Charlie McSpiritt. McSpiritt loses it back to Doug Moyer, and Penn State coming back the other way. This is Lou Carbiner chipping it into the area. Heading it away is Jimmy Lyman, controlled by John Brubacher. Brubacher sending upfield. No one's there. Carbiner comes up with a steal. Carbiner on the near sidelines, going for a streaking Doug Moyer. Moyer one-on-one with Eric Byron, and he can't control it. He goes over the goal line, and it'll be a goal kick for the Connecticut Huskies with 26:01 to go. But John Brubacher is down on the ground, and he seems to be just a little bit injured.
I think he might have had the wind knocked out of him, Harold. While we have this time, we'd like to thank our engineer back in the studio, Tony Savino. And Tony, if you're listening, you have a friend here, Rudy, too, who said hello from University Park, Pennsylvania. So, Tony Savino says hello, too. So there we go. We got both ends of it. As we have a jovial 1,700 on hand, the biggest crowd of the year, the largest, they said, by far, to see the second-ranked Husky and the 12th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. A good matchup, Harold.
Eddie Lynch checks into the game for the injured John Brubacher. He's just going to take a little bit of a breather, nothing very serious. And the Huskies control the ball on the direct kick, and taking it is Jimmy Renahan. Renahan this time was going to boot it downfield, and with that wind at his back, it goes about 60, 65 yards downfield. Connecticut controlling. This is Elvis Comrie. Comrie kicking it right side for Sullivan. Sullivan can't control the ball as he kicked a little bit too far for him, and Jeff Mayerhofer takes it for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Mayerhofer up here for Dan Murphy. Murphy trying to start things up for the Penn State team. Pass on the right side to Peter Jobling. Jobling controlling the ball. He has to get around to Tim Maisley, looking to get by and pass on the right side over to Doug Moyer, stripped away by Connecticut's Eddie Lynch. Now ball loose in front. Dan Mayer take it, make that Dan Murphy take it, and Murphy has on the right sideline. Ball goes out of bounds. And they're ready to make that a push. And it's going to be a direct kick to Penn State about 10 yards outside of the penalty area. 25-01 to go here in the contest. And the fans are enjoying this game. It's Penn State 2, Connecticut 1. And Dan Cantor is going to take the direct kick. Cantor looking to give the Penn State Nittany Lions a 2-goal lead as Penn State has all their players behind the line. Here's the kick. It's chipped out in front. It's almost taken up. Ball loose in front. Kicked away by the Huskies. Headed away by Sullivan. Kept in by McDonald, and he shoots it wide to the right. So the Huskies get by the skin of their teeth, 24-27. To go here in the contest, 2-1 Penn State. The Huskies are going to have to put some points on the board. Jim Dorsanio checks in. Elvis Comrie exits. The next football broadcast tomorrow afternoon, BU versus the Connecticut Huskies. Tony Savino and Jeff Dobek will be there. After that, soccer on Sunday, Philadelphia Textile versus the Connecticut Huskies. Pedro DeBrito fanning on the ball, coming up with his Lou Carbiner. Carbiner sending it deep downfield, looking for breaking Doug Moyer. Moyer going one-on-one with McSpiritt. McSpiritt wins the battle. Now loose in front. Jancevsky has it. Jancevsky from the penalty. Chipping it in for Moyer. Moyer has it right left side. It's one-on-one with McSpiritt. Then finally, Jimmy Lyman clears the ball away. But the Huskies are not playing very good defense, and they almost let two Penn State players run around 4 defensive Huskies.
Doug Moyer had all time to set up that play, and he couldn't do it. And finally, the Huskies got lucky and cleared it.
Throwing on the first, near sideline by Carbiner, settled down by McSpiritt, shot and goal, Jancevsky wide to the left, as McSpiritt cannot clear the ball after he settled it down. It'll be a corner kick for Penn State, as the clock is running down, 23-17 to go, and taking this corner kick will be Lou Carbiner, and you can hear the crowd in the back out. They're going absolutely crazy. Carbiner setting things up. Huskies trying to start things up on defense. Low liner in front. Close through everybody. Kept in play by Jancevsky. Cleared away by Lyman. Lyman going upfield for Carlos. But he overpasses him. And Greg Greg Dennis keeps the ball in the play for Penn State. Pass left side goes to Jancewski. Jancewski sliding the ball to Carbiner. Carbiner chipping it in, looking for number 14 Moyer. And it's 1-on-1, and Radiant comes out, makes the save. As it was kicked away, coming up with it almost was Jobling, but Radiant came out of the goal to make the save, and he quickly outs the ball downfield, but no, Huskies here to gather in, and Penn State brings it back the other way.
Perhaps Jimmy Renahan's best save of the night. Only time will tell if the Huskies come back and tie this one up.
Greg Kenny, the goalie, controlling the ball for Penn State. He drops the ball on the ground. He's being marked by Billy Maloney. Now he slides it on the right sideline for Greg Dennis, and Dennis starts things up for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Kick downfield in the Connecticut zone. Charlie McSpiritt trip. Whistle a play, and it's going to go the Connecticut way.
Getting set to check in the Connecticut lineup. Number 4, John Brubacher. Number 11, Elvis Conley.
Connecticut with the direct kick. They're in their own zone. Right around the middle third of the field. And this is Charlie McSpiritt taking McSpiritt with a low rider. Headed away by Penn State. Now headed up in the air. And it's controlled off the chest of Doug Moyer. Moyer loses the ball momentarily. Duncan McEwen comes up. And McEwen sends it into the Connecticut zone where Charlie McSpiritt takes him. McSpiritt on the left side over to Jim Dorsani. Dorsani, one touch to Carlos. Carlos downfield to Billy Maloney. Maloney right on the midfield area for Lyman. Lyman entering the attacking third of the field. Still controlling the ball. Looking on the right sideline. Finds Sean Sullivan. Sullivan controlling it. Gets it over the page with DeBrito. DeBrito right in front of the penalty area. Slides slow. Looking for Lyman. But coming up to make the steal is Jeff Mayerhoff. Mayerhoff the other way to Jancewski. And Penn State has a break. Jancewski going one-on-one with Eric Meyer. Going towards the middle of the field. Jancewski still on Meyer. They can't stop Jancewski. Coming in the place. McSpiritt. Shipper in front. And Renahan makes the save. But they couldn't take the ball away from Jancewski as he seems to be doing whatever he wants with it when he gets control of it. 21 minutes exactly to go. Penn State 2, Connecticut 1. Jimmy Renahan right on the middle of the field, headed away by McEwen, control off the foot of Dan Cantor right on the midfield area, and there's a battle for it between McEwen and Lyman. McEwen wins and sends downfield, but Charlie McSpiritt is there to gather it up for the Connecticut Blue. McSpiritt over the midfield line on the right side looking for Dorsanio, headed away by Carbiner. Carbiner sends the ball all the way back to Greg Kenny, and Kenny will start things up for the Penn State team. 20 minutes, 28 seconds to go here into the second half. 2-1 Penn State controlling the ball is the Nittany Lions. Dan Cantor almost has the ball stolen by Billy Maloney. But Cantor runs all the way back and personally hands the ball to Greg Kenny, the goalkeeper.
Joining John Brubacher and Elvis Conley is number 9, Graziano Cornello. So at the next horn, we'll have a trio of Huskies checking in.
Ball goes right around the midfield area. Pete Jobling takes control of the ball. Jobling sends it back to McDonald. McDonald sending it to the Connecticut zone for a headed away by Jancewski. Jancewski trying to set up Moyer on the break. Moyer has control of the ball. Now Eric Meyer comes up to take the ball away from both of them and alertly sends it back to Jimmy Renahan. But the Huskies now slowing things up on defense, and their offense is not as clicking as it was earlier in this half. Right sideline, Duncan McEwen coming down, not marked by anybody. Finally, Tim Mason comes up on him. Going right side, shot and goes. It's done. It's out of the goal. I believe number 9, Jancewski looking for the hat trick. Ready came out to make the play. He almost lost it. And Jancewski chipped it over the goal.
And I tell you, Howard, that's a big break for the Huskies. And I tell you, Mr. Jancewski will see that one in the sleep for some time to come, as he had open net. And they had all afternoon to knock it home, and he bounds it over the net. And lucky break for the Huskies. It's still a 2-1 soccer game, although they're down a goal.
19:09 as the Huskies take that goal kick center around midfield, controlled by Penn State. This is Moyer. Moyer trying to get around Lynch. Now Jancewski trying to beat the ball before it goes over the sideline. Can't do so. And Connecticut will have the throw-in. And taking it will be John Brubacher. Less than 20 minutes to go in this game. Connecticut down 2-1. No team has scored here in the second half. Harold Darak along with Mark Boudreau. The ball now bouncing around loosely. Coming up with it is Dan Murphy. Murphy on the left sideline looking for Jancewski. But coming over is Brubacher. Brubacher sends it back to goalkeeper Jim Renahan, and Connecticut will bring it back the other way. This is Graziano Cornello. Cornello bringing it downfield, going for Elvis Conley. Overshoots Conley. Coming up with it is Greg Dennis. Dennis kicks the ball all the way back to goalkeeper Greg Kenny, and Penn State will start it up 120 yards from the Connecticut goal. Greg Kenny slides it along the ground, looking for a teammate almost coming up to make the steal. It's Pedro DeBrito, but it's kicked back and forth between Dan Cantor and Greg Kenny. This time Cantor has the ball. Cantor sends it up the middle of the field, looking for it is Meyerhoff, and Meyerhoff has it, sending it downfield, almost stolen. Now stolen by Charlie McSpiritt only momentarily as he kicks it right to Greg Dennis. Ball now bouncing loosely on the far sideline. Coming up with is McEwen, and McEwen looking to get around Graciano Cornolo. McEwen on the right sideline goes over for Greg Dennis. Dennis downfield looking for Moyer. Kicked away very alertly by Timmy Maisley. Make that Eddie Lynch. And Connecticut controlling the ball just for a moment before it goes all the way back to Penn State deep in their own zone. This is Danny Cantor. Cantor coming up the middle of the field, not being really charged by anybody. Sends it right to the foot of Duck Moyer. Moyer one-on-one with Eddie Lynch. Pass on the right sideline to Pete Jobling. Jobling entering the penalty area, trying to get around Maisley. Shot wide to the right as Timmy Maisley is playing back on the defense, and Penn State running all over the Connecticut Blue. Jimmy Lydia came out to make the save. Could not cut down the angle, and he was just lucky that the ball went wide to the right. It is cold, it is windy, it is snowing. It is Pennsylvania, 17 minutes and 5 seconds to go. Penn State 2, Connecticut 1. As the Huskies have not warmed up here at all in the cold Pennsylvania weather. Ball headed up in the air. Moyer going for it along with McSpiritt. Controlled by Jansowski, but not coming up to run him off the ball. John Buback whistle to play. Push on Jansowski. So Connecticut will have a direct kick. Clock running down, 16:44. And right now it's Jimmy Linehan kicking the ball right around the middle of the field, and it goes all the way to the foot of Timmy Maisley. Maisley signed the ball over to Sean Sullivan. Sullivan has the ball stripped away by Jeff Mayhoff. And Mayhoff coming down the left sideline of the break. Mayhoff one-on-one with John Buback. A couple Huskies entering the defensive picture. Mayhoff was still controlling the ball. Kicks it all up to midfield for our teammate Luke Harbiner. Make that number 5. Dan Cantor. And stripped away from the ball by Carlos. Carlos upfield for Pedro DeBrito, but he almost throws the ball to him. And Greg Dennis comes up with it. Dennis sends the ball back to goalie Greg Kenny. But the Huskies have not taken a good shot on goal for at least 15 minutes.
It's been all Penn State the last 15. In fact, I think the last time it was all UConn, I was saying that the Huskies have control of 15 to 17 minutes of play. And then what happens? Penn State turns around and it's their soccer game right now.
They have the 1-goal lead, 2-1. In the series, Penn State leads it 1 win to 0 losses, 1 tie. That tie, of course, coming a very rainy game versus Gardner Dow last year. Here on the break is Greg Dennis. Dennis entering a penalty area, shot wide to the right. A lot of action, most of it for the Nittany Lions. The Huskies just can't seem to gel.
I was just going to say, Harold, they could have played this second half, at least the second half of this second half, on a 60-yard field because it's been played all in the Penn State offensive zone.
Right now, entering the game is Billy Maroney and Eric Myron for Timmy Maisley and Jim Dorsania. Huskies with the goal kick, 15-11, and again the snow is coming down here at University Park. Ball kicked up to the middle of the field, looking for it is Graciano Cornolo, knocked away very nicely by Duncan McEwen. He goes over the sideline. Huskies with the throw-in. Pedro DeBrito takes the ball. He's fighting for it with Dan Cantor. Gets around Cantor. Now the ball goes over the touchline. Last touch by Cantor. And Connecticut will have the throw-in on the far sideline. The snow now coming down a little more heavily than it has at all during this contest. And it looks like Pedro DeBrito starts the ball in the play, sends it right in front. Kenny loses the ball. Great shot. Score! Connecticut scores as Kenny misplaced the ball. And Graciano Cornolo tied this game up by the score of 2-2. So Connecticut on a bad play by Greg Kenny. A play similar to one that he had before, but he caught. Let the ball go right by Cornolo. Is there? Bing, bang, bang. It's 2-2.
You couldn't say it better. I tell you, a tough break for Kenny who came out. And he had no chance once that ball was bonded by him. There were 3 or 4 Huskies standing there. It's just a matter of who was going to put it in, and Rats Cornolo did it.
14:33 to go in regulation time. It is tied up here. Graciano Cornolo on a goal as Greg Kenny misplayed the ball and was sent to play by a direct kick from Pedro DeBrito. An incredible play. The Huskies put the ball in the net. And it's now 2-2, clock running, Penn State controlling the ball. So just as we said, Penn State controlled the last 15 minutes of play. Connecticut comes up with a very quick goal, similar to one they had in the first half. Cornell controlling for the Huskies on the far sideline. Gets it back to Elvis Conley. Conley right on midfield to Carlos. Carlos tipping it into the area for Pedro Rubino, headed away nicely by Greg Dennis. Ball controlled by Billy Mooney. Mooney right sideline to Sean Sullivan, whistle on the play. The official time of that goal was 30-27. Graciano Cornell from Pedro Rubino. We have a push on the play by Penn State, Connecticut with a direct kick. McSpiritt sent in the air, headed up in the air by Elvis Comrie. Goes over the touchline as Comrie went up with it. So did Bill McDonald. McDonald touched it last, so the Huskies had a corner kick on the far sideline. And quickly, this game is turning the Connecticut way. Elvis Comrie is going to take that far corner kick. Here it is. Ryder goes in front, but he goes over everything and over the goal. So a corner kick by Comrie, and it's going to be a goal kick for Penn State with 13.5 minutes to go in the contest.
Oh, there's some very obvious tides in this game. First, the Huskies came out and dominated the first 12 minutes or so in the second half. Then it was all Penn State. They had numerous chances to put another goal in the net. And then the Huskies turning it around here and controlling the last 2 minutes of play.
Jancevski gets a header on it, but it's settled down in the foot of Garcia Cornolo right around midfield. Cornolo left side over to Carlos. Carlos at Connecticut is entering the Nittany Lions side of the field. Pass downfield, intercepted by Jeff Mayer. Mayer on the right sideline over for Duncan McEwen. McEwen holding the ball, sending things up for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Ball goes downfield, almost intercepted by Carlos. Carlos, he takes a spill on it. Coming up with his Jancevski. Jancevski pass over to Danny Murphy, and Murphy on the left sideline for Jancevski. Jancevski up the middle, beautiful play by John Brubaker as he slid tackle the ball away. It goes all the way back to Luke Carpenter. Carpenter keeps things in play for the Nittany Lions. Pass on the left sideline for Jeff Mayhoff. Mayhoff one-on-one with the Brito, trying to get around the Brito, going to the middle of the field, shot and goal, and goes wide to the right. So Penn State still applying that pressure to Connecticut. We have some substitutes into the game.
Checking in Timmy Mays and Jimmy Ryan, and then checking out of the Connecticut lineup will be number 22, Sean Sullivan, and number 13, Eddie Lynch.
12 minutes, 14 seconds ago. We are knotted at twos here in the first half. Peter Jancevski started off scoring at the 4:50 mark, his 11th of the season. Then at the 19:26 mark, Sean Sullivan from Pedro Rubino knotted the game up in one apiece. Jancevski added the second goal for Penn State from Dan Murphy at the 27:07 mark. And the Huskies scoring the tying goal. This one happening at the 30:27 mark. Graciano Cornell from Pedro Rubino. Penn State with the ball on the west sideline. This is Luke Carpenter. Carpenter gets the ball stripped away from Cornell. Beautiful play on the defense by Graziano. And the Huskies coming back the other way. DeBrito fouled on the play. No call. Ball stolen by Murphy. Murphy upfield for Dan Moyer. Still stripped away by Tim Maisley. Good play by the Husky defense. Maisley kicks it over the sideline. There'll be a throw-in right in front of the Penn State bench for the Nittany Lions. Taking the throw-in is Jeff Mayerhofer. Mayerhofer getting the ball back as it's kicked from teammate Duncan McEwen. Mayerhofer entering the penalty area, but stripped away this time by Cornell. And Cornell bringing the ball out himself over to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito up to Billy Maloney, but a whistle and a tripping call. This time by Duncan McEwen. The Huskies will have a penalty kick. Excuse me, not a penalty kick, but a direct kick right on the middle side of the field. And Pedro DeBrito seems to be down and injured. As the Penn State fans are saying that he is trying for an Academy Award, but I believe Pedro is hurt. You don't normally see Pedro faking any injury. The clock is stopped at 10:58, and DeBrito comes over and starts talking to the referee, saying, come on, let's slow this game down. I'm getting spiked behind the play. So the Huskies are going to have a direct kick right in their own territory, but about 4 or 5 yards outside from their territory, and they have the wind at their backs, and McSpiritt sends the ball to play. McSpiritt to Brubaker. Brubaker almost slipping past the right side, looking for Cornell. Kick out of balance by Jeff Mayerhofer, and the Huskies will have a throw, and McSpiritt will take it. McSpiritt with the throw, he gets the ball into DeBrito. DeBrito has the ball stripped of him before he even touches it by Greg Dennis. Ball goes out of bounds, last touch by DeBrito. As he pleads with the referee to make the correct call, he does not agree with it. And it's going to be a throw-in for Penn State on the near sideline, this time taken by Luke Carpenter. Carpenter looking for a wide-open Penn State player, goes deep downfield for Jancevski, but it's headed away by Graziano Cornell, controlled by Billy Maloney. Maloney being guarded there by a couple of Penn State players very closely, gets the ball out to Carlos. Carlos over to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman with a pretty move, gets around one player, gets a pass over to Elvis Connery. Connery right around the middle of the field. Coming up, looking for Graziano Cornell. Cornell has it this time right in the middle of the field, entering the attacking third, and he leaves it off for a breaking John Brubaker on the right sideline. Brubaker sending pass, looking for Connery. headed away by Dan Cantor, controlled by the Huskies, sent deep into the area, but it's kicked over everybody. It's going to be a goal kick for the Penn State Nittany Lions, as Pedro DeBrito says that he feels that Penn State last touched the ball, but to know, and now they're going to give him the corner kick, so DeBrito is right. One linesman said goal kick, the other one said corner kick, and the Huskies want a corner kick down the near sideline. And here goes DeBrito. DeBrito will roll right on the front for Brubacher. He fans and misses. This is Carlos in front of the area. Saved by Kenny. As Carlos got the shot on goal, and Kenny was there to make the save. Huskies were looking for the rebound. Kenny being marked by Elvis Comrie, not too tightly. Passes on the right sideline over for Bill McDonald. And McDonald starting things up on the offense for the Penn State team. Ball stolen this time by Charlie McSpiritt. McSpiritt kicks it deep into the zone. This time Greg Dennis is going to get it. Whistle on the play on the far sideline as the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Connecticut is going to be a throw-in for the Penn State team.
The Huskies have control for the last 5 minutes, Harold, so if the game keeps being as consistent as it has been, it looks like the Nittany Lions will probably control the next 6 minutes of play.
And that's exactly what we've had. Inconsistent ball for both teams. Is Penn State really has had the better of the play. Huskies scoring on 2 flukes. Well, not really flukes, but just times when Penn State was controlling the ball for the most part. And also Connecticut came up and really surprised Penn State by putting the ball into the net. Penn State controlling the ball. Doug Moyer, deep in the area for Jansowski. Shot saved by Linehan. What a play is Linehan. Came over the goal. And he beat Jansowski to the ball after Jansowski kicked the ball up into the air. And Huskies bring it back in on Maroney over to Comrie. Comrie left sideline over to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman by one player back to Comrie. Comrie right outside the penalty area. Comrie centering pass for Maroney. He goes wide to the right. And coming up with it as the ball just misses going over the goal line is Lou Carbina, but I believe we have a whistle on the play, and either offsides or jumping in. I believe the offsides calls what it was is Billy Maloney went to the header and he stayed in the net, and so therefore he was offsides as he did not get up and move back. 7:55 to go here at University Park. They're tied at 2. The goal kick, not a very good one for Penn State. Connecticut coming up with the ball. Pedro DeBrito entering the penalty area on the right sideline. DeBrito around one player. Oh, there's Billy Maloney shot. Saved it. A goal by DeBrito and Maloney. I believe it's Pedro. And he does a flip in the air. It's Connecticut 2. And it's Penn State 2. What a shot. Unbelievable play as the Huskies came up a poor goal kick. Set that one up. Connecticut comes up and scores with DeBrito with the flip. Connecticut 3 and Penn State 2. 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go, and the Huskies have just shocked Penn State, and the crowd is all silent. DeBrito with an unbelievable shot on the right sideline. He came into the penalty area where around 2 or 3 Penn State defenders left the ball for Roney, but took it himself, shot into the lower left-hand corner. It's Connecticut 3 and Penn State 2. Penn State takes the ball to play. They're looking for Jansowski. Headed away by Brubacher, and DeBrito going for it, along with number 5, Dan Cantor, but Cantor caught for the elbow as the crowd is really yelling things up.
Harold, I got to tell you right now, official scoring on that goal, we have Pedro DeBrito at the 37-20 mark. I'll give you a breath, and I don't have the official assist on that one. No,
that one might be unassisted because DeBrito took that all the way pretty much himself.
Well, you called it, and I tell you, picture perfect. The Huskies have the lead for the first time in this soccer game.
And Charlie McSpiritt takes the direct kick and goes downfield. Carlos running with it with Duncan McEwen as Carlos gets the ball, and Billy Maroney keeps the ball in play for Connecticut. Maroney sending the ball deep for Elvis Comrie. Comrie on the left sideline, and I believe we have a whistle. And what was that one, Mark?
7:05. I believe that was a push called against the Huskies and Elvis Comrie, so Penn State will have the direct kick, far sideline.
Penn State coming up with it. This is number 6, Greg Dennis. Dennis sending it deep downfield, but coming up almost stolen by Connecticut. But Penn State keeping control of the ball, and with it is Dan Murphy.
Offside!
Murphy has control of the ball right here in the middle of the area and goes deep downfield looking for his number 7, Jeff Mayhoff. Mayhoff one-on-one with Charlie McSpiritt to the left sideline. Shot, goal! It hits the crossbar! It hits the crossbar and bounds all the way out of bounds, but the Huskies better not let up on defense or there's going to be some sort of problems for the Connecticut Blue. But they're going to throw it on the far sideline with 6 minutes and 6 seconds to go into this contest. Huskies lead 3-2 for the first time today. And they're throwing now. They're going to say it was last touch by Connecticut, and coming up with it is going to be a Penn State throw, and now comes Jimmy in the air. Jim Linehan makes the save. So it's incredible play. 5:54 to go. Connecticut with the goal kick, and
you don't get messages like that very often. I tell you, we just got a message from a local policeman, from a few people that called down from Connecticut to say we sound great. Last team in show. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Okay, Connecticut sending it deep downfield. We thought we were going to get arrested there for a moment, but nonetheless, Connecticut has control of the ball. Now almost stolen and stolen by Dan Kate. The ball loose around to Macy racing forward, sending it downfield. Loose in front of the goal. Going for his number 14. 40 is kicked away by Kubacher as they're yelling for a goal, but the referee will not make it in the penalty area. So the Penn State crowd is really pretty mad right now as they thought that their player was tripped in the penalty area, but no call was made 5 minutes ago in this contest. Penn State down by 1, Connecticut 3 and Penn State 2. Ball goes down to the middle of the field. It goes over everybody's head. Elvis Comrie settles it off his chest, and he's keeping control of the ball right around the middle of the field. Comrie takes a shot on goal. He goes wide to the left. So the horn comes in, and we have a substitute.
Graziano Carrillo checks in the Connecticut lineup. Now we look over to Coach Morney and says, who am I taking out? He's taking out Sean Sullivan. So Sean checks out. Gratz checks in. The Huskies have that extra offense up. And we have 4:27 as the clock ticks on.
The clock ticks on. Connecticut controlling the ball. Cornell, left sideline, looking for Jim Lyman has the ball. Lyman tries to send it up to Comrie. The ball now loose in front. Penn State's going to take the ball away. And taking it is Greg Dennis. Dennis on the left sideline over for Lou Carbiner. Carbiner downfield for our teammate Moyer. Moyer heads the ball down to Jeff Mayhofer. Mayhofer loses the ball to Charlie McSpiritt. McSpiritt sends it up to Billy Maroney. Maroney on the right sideline for a breaking Elvis Comrie. Comrie controlling the ball on the right sideline. He has to get around Carbiner. He slows things up immensely. Sends it over to Jimmy Lyman. The Huskies might be going into the corner stall. Let's see what they're going to do. Elvis Comrie gets kicked, has the ball kicked out of bounds by Dan Murphy, and I believe we're going to have that corner stall any minute now. 3:44 to go. Elvis Comrie looking to throw the ball, and he gets it into Jimmy Lyman. Lyman has the ball. He's in the corner. Penn State around him. The ball goes out of bounds again. Last touch. Now, let's say before it goes out of bounds, a push on the play by Penn State, and it's a right kick for the Connecticut Huskies as the Penn State people are very mad as they can't believe that call. But Connecticut letting the clock run down. 3:22. They will win this game if they can hold off the Penn State team. They're in the right corner, getting set to take the direct kick. Elvis Comrie with it with Rachel DeBrito, and let's look for the corner stall. DeBrito has the ball kicked out of bounds, but it's going to be off the foot of Connecticut. It's going to go the other way, and the Huskies running. They cannot believe that call. They're going downfield. This is Jeff Mayhofer. Mayhofer almost losing it to Connecticut, but keeping control of the ball. 2 Huskies come up, strip him from the ball, and coming up with it is Duncan McEwen. McEwen slips in the play, loses control of it. Lyman has it. We have a holding violation of Lyman, and taking it to the hole. Penn State clock running down. 2:45 to go. And quickly, Penn State setting up for the direct kick right in front of their own bench. Direct kick taken by Lou Carbiner. Carbiner getting ready to check the setup. Huskies getting back on defense. Carbiner chipping in the left sideline, and he gets the ball over to Duncan McEwen. McEwen shot and goal off the back of Charlie McSpiritt. Pedro DeBrito has control of it. He clears it deep downfield, and racing for it is Greg Dennis, along with the goalkeeper, Greg Kenny. They're going to try to set this ball into play as quickly as possible. As Dennis gets out, Kenny takes the ball out of bounds on a throw-in, and sends it into his teammate, and Penn State coming back with